Welcome to episode 118 of Drew's Sports Crew here on this Sunday afternoon. Myself, Drew Skyberg, joining you to share all the news in the Wisconsin sports world as always. It's great to be back here on yet another episode 118 again. And today we'll be going through, we got three main topics, and we'll start in the world of high school sports. We'll talk about two teams from the same school that made it to state. We'll also then talk through how it fared for a team around the area, not in the EWC, but in the Big East, Michigan. We'll talk about their state game that took place on Friday in the high school world. We're going to talk all conference teams next week. So if you're waiting on those, that'll be in next week's episode. I'll be getting that information. And then we're going to be going to the world of the Milwaukee Brewers. We'll talk about week 11, how it's gone so far. I'm recording before week 11's game here at 1:10 last week. Sunday's game, week 11, how it works out kind of in the schedule. But anyways, we'll talk through week 12. We'll talk about who's hot, who's struggling a little bit, when we're going to get some guys back. The usual here is what we'll be looking at. And then we're going to go over, I was talking about, I'm like, we're going to wait until we get more information on the Milwaukee Bucks coaching situation. Is it Adrian Griffin? Is it not? And then episode comes out a day later that they confirm it's Adrian Griffin. So I'll just highlight kind of what all went through in those details. It actually worked out later in the week. We got more assistant coaching details on specifics. So I got some fun facts to share with you all on that. So those are the three main things we'll be looking at today. And again, at True Sports Crew, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok here. Just a reminder on that. So let's get going here. Let's go right through it. We're going to start in the world. We'll go right away to softball, actually. We'll talk about, so Michigan, I talked, was the last team in the area that was left. And they had a state game then in Division 3. In Division 3 there. And they played a tough squad. And unfortunately, their season came to an end in that one. They played Mayville, was the team. And fun fact, actually, Jordan Lawrence, right? He was actually on the call for this one down in Madison. So small world, and it was good to hear that. And unfortunate, though, Michigan season comes to an end. Big thing on the radio broadcast they discussed was the sun was just brutal down there in Madison. They were playing in the afternoon. Like it was like a 12 or 1 o'clock game. And report I got was sun was tough. Fly balls were a challenge. And we see it even in the big leagues on the baseball side. Sometimes the sun just gets in the way. And so unfortunate, way for the Michigan season come to an end too. They played a tough Mayville squad, and kudos to Michigan making it, this far, right? A great season for them, and just keeping that dynasty in softball going, and right in other sports as well. So congratulations to Michigan on a great season. Although not EWC, we still want to congratulate schools in the area. But that actually wrapped up our softball season. But I decided, let's just not do all conference for softball today. We still got baseball going on because the Kiel Raiders. I talked about how we have a good shot of an EWC team making it to state. I talked about how Kiel, New Holstein square off. Kiel wins that one 4-3. And then so they played. We talked about how the double headers were. This was on Tuesday, June 6th. This game played at 1 o'clock, right after Kiel gets this 4-3 win. They got to play at 4 o'clock. They got to play right away after this game. They played not Shiocton. This was at Shiocton. They played Amherst. Amherst won against number 8 Auburndale. We talked about how that was going for them. But then in this one, it was Kiel and Amherst. And Kiel wins at 2-0. The Kiel Raiders are going to state, so congratulations to them in baseball. A dominant year there for the Raiders. That pitching staff is what we talked about, near the end of the season, going through stat leaders. A really nice staff, and Kiel currently, I see them as 25-2. So, Kiel, they get the job done, and they're going back to state there in baseball. So congrats to them on that. And we do have an opponent already for state. They are going to be playing Tuesday, June 13th. So in 2 days from now, and they're going to play where the Timber Rattlers play. So in Appleton there, the Neuroscience Group Field, I believe it's called now. They're playing St. Croix Falls, who are currently 18-0. That game's going to be at 2:30 p.m. So that's where you're going to see that state tournament game there. 2:30 first pitch is what we're seeing. So congratulations again to Keel on that. And we're going to get hopefully I'll be able to report on that next week. We'll get some hopefully good details on that one. Anyways, let's go. Like baseball's kind of right, one team left. Just congrats to Keel winning both those in the doubleheader. We got soccer. We had more games take place this past week. So we had that Kiel Sheboygan Lutheran Sheboygan Christian game. That was at Kiel Thursday, June 8th. That game, they win that one. They win 6-2. And then Kiel, they play Saturday. Then they played yesterday. Yesterday, they got the game in before the rain. It sounds like kind of. Game was at 1:00 at St. Mary Catholic. They played Lord's Academy. And then the Valley Christian, that co-op team we've talked about, they were the 2 seed. So the 1 and 2 squared off at St. Mary Catholic. In this one, Kiel wins again, 5-0. They've only allowed 2 goals so far this year. Here's a stat for you. Currently, they have outscored their opponents. This is crazy. It's 36-2 is what I'm seeing. So so it was 15-0 in that first one, 10-0 in the second. So there's 25 right there, 31 goals, and then 36 as they scored 6 and 5 respectively in their last 2 games. They've only allowed 2 in the second last one. They allowed 2. So that dominant stretch so far for Kiel, and we do not have seeding yet. So I do not have an opponent yet on this one. As these games took place yesterday, I'm imagining the seeding meetings tomorrow will know then their opponents for Friday. So they're either going to be playing at 4:30 or 7 on Friday, June 16th is when they'll be playing. So keep that in mind. But congratulations to both Kiel teams making it to state. Not often we see that in spring sports where, 2 different sports from the same school make it in the same, that's impressive. So congratulations to Kiel on that. And that was mainly it today in the high school side. Seasons are wrapping up. Not as much news going on, but next week I promise we'll talk about how Kiel did at state. We'll talk about for both sports, and then we're also going to share some all conference teams. I'll work on getting that information, get that in. Hopefully we'll share then kind of what's going on, who got named what, and looking forward to that. So that's going to wrap it up on the high school side here. So that's all. This is all from the WIAA.org tournament website. Very nice. Check out their brackets. They have all the information there as you need. So let's go over to the Milwaukee. We'll do the Milwaukee Brewers. So as I'm recording before Sunday, full disclosure, they're going to be out without manager Craig Counsell today on Sunday, June 11th. He will not be managing today's game, or if you're listening on Monday, he did not manage yesterday's game, as you saw. Reason being, again, graduation day at Whitefish Bay High School. So the talk with Craig Counsell again has been it's unsure. People are unclear if he's returning due to the fact that son's graduating. He's going to be playing college ball, and there's some questions on because he's a family man, which we all respect, right? He's a family man that if his son's playing, he's gonna want to watch those games. So, and missing out on a lot of high school games because of baseball as well. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens. But for the Milwaukee Brewers case, currently 34-31, is it fair to say one of the worst, their worst weekend series of the year? Maybe one of the worst series for them of the year so far against the Oakland Athletics. I was at 2 games this past week I talked about. They win on Tuesday, they lose on Friday. They win in Tuesday in extras. It was on Friday, and it's baseball. It was Athletics come in. Fans are like, okay, this is easy sweep. These games aren't even going to be close. Like, come on. And it was like, okay. We start the week Monday against a lefty, Andrew Abbott. He starts, and the Brewers score 0 runs. Shocker. Left-handed pitcher starts, score 0 runs, score little to no runs. Then a really good Baltimore Orioles team comes into town. Brewers take care of business. They win Tuesday in extras. They win Wednesday 10-2. And then Thursday they lose a day game. They were up 3-0. Bullpen comes. Just there's something each day for the Brewers and some of these losses that's just frustrating. The bullpen was Thursday's loss. Friday was the offense being at that one. They had no hits after the fourth inning against one of the worst, if not the worst, bullpen in baseball. It's actually one of the worst collective pitching staffs, including bullpen, in modern history in terms of ERA. So, well, you just gotta laugh it off at this point, because scoring a combined 3 runs between Friday and Saturday against historically, again, one of the worst pitching staffs, pitching rotations, in recent history is remarkable. I mean, the ERA, I believe, was around a near 6. So you see my frustrations as, can't score. This A's offense is no joke. That's what I've been telling people when I've been previewing. It's, this A's team can easily they put up 5 runs Friday. They can hit the ball. So that's something where, you can't just throw guys out there and expect them to get outs, which the bullpen, unfortunately, we're just throwing some guys out there who, we don't have the depth right now. So very, very frustrating if you're a fan, for Brewer fans. I guess talking through Baseball Reference, I'll through like some of the stats and whatnot, or pulling those up on MLB, wherever you pull them up, you could see this as what we're looking at is, we get a good outing from Burns last Wednesday. His ERA is down to 3.36, thankfully, but Hauser, I mean, on Friday, one of the more frustrating starts. The walks are getting out of control, collectively for the rotation and the bullpen, but especially bad, on Friday. I believe 5 or 6 walks for the team allowed. And it's just been one of those. It's like, okay, Bryce Wilson you can trust. You can trust Devin Williams. You trust Pyamps. Maybe Milner. Strzelecki's struggling right now to get outs. Tehran's look great. Tehran puts up another great start on Saturday, and he's doing it by limiting soft contact, or limiting hard contact and generating soft contact. ERA at 1.48 right now for for Tehran. But man, Javi Guerra's ERA, right, he's not even on the team anymore. It was at 8 at a point when they were throwing him out there. They replaced him with Tyson Miller, whose ERA is a 5.87 ERA and 7 2/3 innings. And what these guys, even like Statcast wise, like diving into the numbers, they're allowing hard contact. They're not suppressing fly balls. So we're seeing the problems, and it's something. It's not going to work. There's no other way to put it. The good news we do have on update side, Wade Miley is rehabbing AA Biloxi. He's got a rehab start going on. Jesse Winker homered in his rehab assignment. So we have some guys who are working on coming back. Sounds like Woodruff might be back late June. I honestly, for Woodruff, I'm worried. I'm worried if it's going to be past late June, early July. So we're going to monitor that. Matt Bush is still out, but Bush wasn't that effective, as we know. It sounds like Lauer might be back, and I don't think any of these guys eventually will be back this week, except Winker is the guy who I think it's possible. Miley could join the rotation at the start of next week is my belief. Same with Lauer. But the point is, we're going to be getting some guys back, which is coming at a great time, a needed time. And the Brewers still are hovering around first place in the Central too, which is remarkable. We'll go through a standings report in a second, but I'm hoping for Sunday. JP Sears is pitching, our lefty. So the story we've seen this week is Craig Counsell and collectively, the Brewers are trying to get more strategic and creative with these lineups, because we're having an issue where this team can't score runs against left-handed pitching. So one of the common things we're seeing now is we're actually seeing Owen Miller. He's getting moved around. You can actually find him in the leadoff spot some games, including today. He's going to bat leadoff against the lefties. He did on Friday. He's got the speed. He's, again, like if we go StatCast wise, his average exit velo, max exit velo are below average in comparison to guys in the league. But what you see with Owen Miller is it's these soft liners where I find interesting always with Savant, where it's like, okay, soft liners tend to have, right, a lower expected batting average than if you hit the ball hard, right? Um, but what Miller's so great at is his plus speed is going to allow him to either beat some of these out or even some of these soft liners actually just dropping. Like he's hitting them hard, like he's hitting line drives, but they're just not as hard as people on average. He's not hitting these 100+ screamers. He's hitting these 90-mile-per-hour ones that are finding holes, which he's still getting on base. So it's like, okay, it's hard to look at those exit velo numbers and say like he's overperforming, he's going to regress, because Miller's sustained it so far, and we're in June. I mean, we're almost at mid-June, so I'm not saying it's like his average is completely sustainable right now where he's batting. If I pull up his numbers right now, Owen Miller is batting 313. I'm not saying 313 with an 800 OPS is sustainable, but I think his numbers, he's got 9 stolen bases. I think we could see him be, or like a 12 to 15 home run, 30 steal guy. A guy like that who's, I think in terms of WAR, is going to be up there on the team. Haven't even talked about the guy in the thumbnail of this episode, Joey Weimer, who's put together his best week of his career, had the best game of his life, too, on Wednesday. Hit some home runs. He's already up to 8 home runs, 23 RBIs, and 10 steals. So, I mean, looking at that OPS of 700 right now, he's brought his average up over 25 points in the last week. And again, watching him swing, it's something. Check swings every at bat, every pitch, it seems, but he's been effective. And credit Weimer, his speed, his defense, and then just he hits the ball hard when he hits the ball. 59 strikeouts seems like a lot, but he's hung in there and he's actually put together some really nice at bats. Unfortunately, Bryce Terrain goes down. He's got to work on some things, but he was at 9 steals. I think what this Brewers team has done that's really underrated is they get people on base, or they might not get people on base as much as you would want. But what this team does is they're able to, I'm not saying like they leave, like when they leave runners on base and stuff, but they're able to, they do a great job moving runners around. So whether it's stolen bases, whether, it's advancing on wild pitches, it's, ground balls that move guys over, not double plays. But my point being said is they do a great job of maximizing the runners they get on, I feel. And I think with stolen bases is a great one. They've been very effective, like limiting caught steals as well. Like they've been extremely efficient. Yelich is 16 of 18 for steals this year. Weimer, 10 for 11. Terang was 9 for 12, or 9 out of 12. These guys, Miller's 9 out of 10. Like, so they're having clips of over 90%. And I think what's crazy is this. Christian Yelich right now, I know he's got, right, from the media and from others, they've talked about Yelich just productivity falling off. Yelich is quietly right now on pace for 20 plus home runs and over 30 steals. So like he's on pace for like 20-35 season home run steals. That power speed combo, not prime Yelich, but like you'll take that. I mean, he's going to be, his WAR's at 1.3, Williams is at 1.5. He's been dominant, not dominant in the sense of like taking over the league, but I mean, he's been very good this year. Maybe not all-star level, but he's been good. Because I've had people ask, actually, me, just going over quickly before we go through Week 12's prediction. Owen Miller is going to be an all-star, I think. So I have a total of like 3 all-stars roughly. I got Owen Miller. I have 3, and I'll explain why I think I actually have 4. I have for sure Owen Miller, Corbin Burns, and Devin Williams are my 3. But what will happen, I was going through catchers in the NL. I'm like, okay, Will Smith and JT Realmuto are going to be two guys we're going to look at. I think William Contreras is going to make it as a reserve last minute guy. I think he'll be like added on, not last minute, but more of like one of those guys who either is picked by the manager, right, or is going to be just added overall. So not sure how it's going to be done, but we're going to see how it's going to go. So I'm hoping we get 4 All-Stars. Again, I'm not too big into that where, oh, we didn't get that All-Star. It's, whatever. But it's always good to see the Brewers be represented there during All-Star week. So that's kind of how I'm feeling about the team right now. Let's go to, so week 11's prediction was pretty good. Issue is this weekend kind of threw everything off. I had the Brewers, I did have them losing Saturday. So I did have that one. I had them winning on June 9th. I have them also winning June 11th. So I have them winning today, if you're listening. It was overall decent week. I had them winning Monday as well. The problem was Andrew Abbott kind of got thrown in the pitching mix where I talk about making those predictions. It throws kind of off how I have it done. So a lot of forecasting, and sometimes there's things that change where it's interesting throughout the week. But we get a short week this week. We got for week 12, 5 games only. Brewers are off on Monday and Thursday. And then they go to Minnesota, face the Twins for a 2-game set. Tuesday, 6:40 p.m. That game again in Minnesota. That's the first pitch, 6:40. Looking no giveaways, what I'm seeing. Game on Wednesday, out of market, MLB Network is the one cool thing going on there. And then on Thursday, June 15th, there is an off day there as well. Those are what I mentioned. Then we have a weekend set with the Pittsburgh Pirates. We have some giveaway things going on there. So Friday, June 16th, it's a special ticket package, golf night there. And that is on Friday, June 16th. So you get a bobblehead. And then on Saturday, it's 3:10 first pitch. So a 3:10 Saturday game again here. And I almost missed Friday, Apple TV Plus. So I know people don't like that. Relax, I know. But it's on Apple TV Plus again. Brewers, for the 3rd time this year, will be on Apple TV Plus, I should add. Saturday, then, we have Bally Sports at 3:10. That one is Craig Counsell, Indiana Jones Bobblehead Day. That is, again, a special theme package as well. And then we have Father's Day. So the promotion, I believe, is a bucket hat. You have to be 21 plus. I didn't see how many are given out, but that game's at 110. Of course, it's on Bally Sports Wisconsin, and that's Father's Day again. So I'm seeing, trying to see right now what we're looking at, but so we had a little latency issue there, but apologize for the technical difficulties, but I do have it up now. Or it was a Brewers bucket hat. It's first 10,000 ticketed fans. That's what you were looking for. 21 plus again on that. So keep in mind, those are the giveaways we're looking at. Some great things going on there. But again, that's Sunday, June 18th is that one. So 5 games this week. I'll have my record prediction out tomorrow morning. I don't want to give away too much on that. Let's go to the Milwaukee Bucks quickly here before we wrap up. And the news kind of going surrounding, it's official. Adrian Griffin is your new Milwaukee Bucks head coach. Certainly seems like a player's hire I talked about. And again, he's going to be a guy who you want to have on. And I want to talk about some of the assistants he brought. So highlighting the assistants, Joe Prunty or Prunty, I've heard it both ways, is going to join as one of his assistants. And you might remember that guy. Not from his time in Phoenix or Atlanta, where he was most recently. He was the Bucks interim head coach again in 2017, 2018. Many remember him there down the stretch. He was actually considered as a potential hire, I believe, after that. But what happened with him was Budenholzer came and was available, so they wanted him there. And then some other guys joined the staff as well. Patrick Batumbo also, who did he was an assistant at, with Mutombo, kind of his path with Phoenix last year's assistant. He was one of Monty Williams' assistants, who we know is now in Detroit. So kind of a lot of moves with some of the bigger name head coaches for the Contenders. So there's some connections. I believe Mutombo was also an assistant with Griffin under Nick Nurse. So that's something to monitor there. So those are some of the two assistants right now who we know. I just saw Charles Lee before we went live here. Charles Lee took a new coaching position, so he will not be returning as a Bucks assistant. Um, then also Vin Baker and Josh Oppenheimer will remain on the Bucks staff. So the assistant, it's all lined out. I don't know who the top assistant is right now. You know how sometimes we have that in case of let's say Griffin gets tossed, whatnot. But it's interesting to see Adrian Griffin's going to be the guy in Milwaukee. I'm happy for him. I'm really happy about this hire. Right. Again, having a guy from the Raptors coaching tree, actually, I'm a fan of. I think Nick Nurse is one of the great basketball minds, and I do think the Nurse coaching tree is going to be a thing that's going to come out in the next 10 years. And we're already seeing it right here in a hire like this. So it's really, really good to see. And he's got a lot of assistant coaching experience in terms of NBA as well. So he's been a part of playoff teams. He's the 17th head coach in Milwaukee Bucks franchise history. And it's really exciting to see, again, Adrian join the squad. And I'm seeing and then the press conference was held last week. So, again, happy about this hire. Please, it was not one I expected, but I should have thought more, looking back at it. Some of those guys who I was talking about, I'm like, what if Bucks got Monty Williams, some of these experienced guys? I should have thought about more. Like, what if they got one of their assistants as well? Or instead, a guy, because when those guys get fired, we know how the assistant coaches that always moves around. So Griffin became of interest when Nurse got fired, is what I'm assuming. So now, future lesson learned, kind of look, at least for myself personally, and I know a lot of the other people who made predictions on who was hired had similar ones to as I did, where we thought we were going to get a guy with like head coaching, a lot of head coaching NBA experience with some contenders. But certainly now looking more into what do these assistants bring to the table is something I'm going to use in my future analysis. So congratulations again to Adrian Griffin, and that's going to wrap it up here. But before we go, scheduling wise, this Wednesday around 4:30, 4:45, I'm thinking Central Time, Journey to Million, myself joined alongside Zach Roush and Jared Valesky on that. And then I'm going to be previewing another DFS MLB slate on Saturday. I appreciate all the continued support on those. I love sharing my thoughts and details on what's going on in this MLB DFS slate, especially on a Saturday. Enjoy the weekend, spend some time with your family and friends, and watch some baseball. So it's always fun to do that. And one more announcement before I go: Journey to a Million live show. Yes, it's happening. I'm excited to announce that a live show will be returning to Petskill Brewery, bringing a Journey to a Million live show there. Looking forward to that. Paul Hoffman and Petskill Brewery, Petskill Brewing, they do a great job there. Food's phenomenal. And of course, there'll be drinks and such. And that will be Thursday, August 10th. So in that one, we're going to be previewing, right? It's August. I was like, we got to be talking football there. So Zach and Jared coming along, talking football. We're going to do a Packer season preview. We're going to be going through some NFL general predictions, talk about what the season looks like, who are going to be the guys to monitor, right? More for the casual, right? Even a casual NFL fan. You want to know who's going to be the MVP favorite, who's the guy who's looking like they're going to have a big year. We're not going to be talking, about in Dynasty. You're looking at like some second or third string guys who might have a shot. We'll be talking about the big names, how they're going to do, what do we think is going to happen, who's winning the NFC North, right? The things that people want to know. And then lastly, if you have any questions, feel free to we'll have a little Q&A thing at the end. But it's going to be a great time. Thursday, August 10th, 7 p.m. at Petskill Brewing. Details are on at Drew Sports Crew. And then we'll also have an event up on Facebook. We'll have Petskill Brewing post an event. I'll be sharing that event around. Keep it all consistent and concise there. That's going to wrap it up here for myself, Drew Skyberg, here on this Sunday afternoon. Thank you all for listening to another episode of Drew Sports Crew, the perfect podcast for you.